Welcome back to another episode of Operation Anti-Indoctrination. I'm your host, JB. It's great to be here. We're talking to you today from our bunker in Kazakhstan.
I'm producer Brooke.
Alright, so today we're going to be talking about the school system. Once again, we need to talk about time. Time is something that, well, we don't necessarily have a lot of. You know, you always wish that, oh, if only I didn't have to go to sleep. If only I could stay up all night. If only I could just get everything I want to done. If only I knew how to manage my time. So today we're going to be talking about that and how schools essentially fill your time up and don't teach you how to manage it. So let's go. Ring the bell. Basically, the problem with the school system is that you spend 7 hours there per day. 6 hours, 7 hours, 8 hours, that's the deal. There's even been proposals to up it to 10 hours, although that's probably not going to go anywhere. It's a long time, all right? And nobody ever actually asks what you do there. I mean, that's 7 hours of your day. That's about a third of your day, and if you don't include sleeping, that's like half your day almost. So you have to wonder what actually happens there. And what we find is that kids don't report that they're learning. Instead, they report that they're stressed. They report that they're depressed. They report that they're tired. They don't report that they're actually learning. And I think what you find is that most kids don't like school. Certainly what I found when I talk to kids is that they just don't like it. It's bad.
I mean, 7 hours a day in school. You think the kids would be super genius, know everything. Why don't you, if you're in school right now, or if you're not in school, why don't you think, like, how much can you recall of history? You can probably recall, like, a good bit, maybe. But for an hour every day, 180 days a year, roughly, of many years.
Could you imagine if you spent that time, those tens of thousands of dollars that accumulate? Could you imagine if you spent that actually pursuing what you're interested in, actually bettering yourself, actually pursuing what's gonna, in the long term, make you a better person? Could you imagine, instead of being in these horrible places where you got worksheets chucked in front of you, you spend half the class the teacher's lecturing you, and you'd rather be doing anything else? I mean, could you imagine what society would be like if we actually put those 7 hours a day towards doing actual productive stuff instead of having our minds numbed? And then it gets worse when you add two things into this. First of all, when you add homework into this. Because homework, well, no one likes it. No one learned anything from it. From my personal experience, everyone basically just does the bare minimum, and the teacher is not going to grade the teacher's not going to grade 30 worksheets 5 days a week. That's just not how, no one works like that. So the teacher just, yep, you're good, and done. So what actually happens is nobody learns anything, and the kids' time is just wasted for a bare minimum job that they get absolutely nothing out of, probably even less than they get out of school, which is saying something.
I have a funny story to share, if you allow me to, on this show.
Go ahead. No, never. It's my authoritarian show. Yes, go ahead.
I was doing language arts homework, and I guess I did some of it, and then I thought I completed it, but I guess I didn't. Anyway, I stopped in the middle of a sentence at one point. There was just cut off of the sentence, and I got an 100 on that homework somehow, because I guess the teacher did not feel like grading it at all.
Yeah, you could practically fill out a sheet with numbers, with random numbers, and you get an A on it. There's honestly a 50% chance no one will notice. Or it just won't be checked, period. So that's number one. It's just homework, absolute waste of time. And many kids don't do it. Now, in most cases, they're not actually putting that time towards anything worthwhile, but in some cases they are. In certain cases, kids do spend that time, but not many, but some cases, kids do spend that time bettering themselves, honing their skills, that sort of thing. And then number two, you have this phenomenon of screen time. Now, I'm not going to say, I'm not going to say that you should not be, you should be spending a half hour on your phone per day, and you should be spending no more than 45 minutes watching TV and no more than 15 minutes texting. I'm not going to say that because nobody actually expects that, And even if that is healthy, I mean, okay, great. You had some guy on the internet tell you that you shouldn't be doing so much time on your screen. But 7 hours a day? 7 hours is a little. I mean, and goes for me. This completely goes for me. But 7 hours is a little much. What are you actually doing on there? I mean, think about that. If you spent all day on your phone, what were you actually doing? What were you actually watching? What were you actually consuming that was helping you, or you were even enjoying? I mean, there's been times where I'm on my phone, I'm doing something, and I'm not enjoying it, but I almost physically cannot get off it. And that's just how, I mean, that's how it is now. I mean, what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to read? Am I supposed to play outside? You know.
An exception to this is obviously if you're pursuing your interest, coding, whatever, if you're using like programs to do things like, I don't know, video editing, animation, anything like that, go for that.
Yeah.
Do that. That is good use of your time.
Yeah, that doesn't count. No, I'm talking about mindless consumption, basically. And I think that's most of the 7 hours for most people. Not all, but it's bad. You're not gonna get much out of it. I mean, I don't know what I do. I don't know what I do all day. Like, it just, the hours, they disappear. And the results of this is, having your, I mean, think of this. 7 hours a day on your phone. Most of that time is spent doing basically nothing. 7 hours in school. Most of that time is spent basically doing nothing. And, well, teachers say in high school they assign 3.5 hours of homework per day. That doesn't, no one actually does that. It's more like 1.5 hour, 1 hour, 1.5 hours of homework per day for most people. But still, you're not getting anything out of it. So, think of that. Your day, it's just gone. You got basically your entire day is doing mindless stuff in school, doing mindless stuff on your phone, or doing mindless homework. That's your day. And, I mean, should we be surprised that the suicide rate is going up? Are we supposed to be surprised that depression's going up? Are we supposed to be surprised that people are just, they hate their lives. It's very simple. Nobody likes their lives. They don't like being on their phone. They're just addicted to it. And this goes for me. They don't like being in school, but they have to. And they don't like doing homework, but they have to. And that's how it is.
Link all these articles in the description.
Okie dokie.
Especially this one if you want to pause and read it.
Yeah, it's all very interesting stuff, and basically, our time is just worthless these days. I mean, you look at how short life is, and what do you do all day? What are you doing all day? Ask yourself that, seriously. Ask yourself that seriously. And it's a good question, and I don't think most people my age certainly can answer it, really. All right. Well, I think we're going to end it there. I think that's going to be about it. So, if you did enjoy this episode or learn something, please do like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it if you're on YouTube. And then if you're on any platform, if you can share the video, that'd be super awesome. And, yeah, leave a comment, please. And until next time, I've been your host, JB.
And I'm your producer, Brooke.
Have a great rest of your day, and goodbye.